Welcome to Opiate Recovery. Opiate Recovery Podcast gives you an inside look at an addiction recovery support group. This group is composed of people who've been addicted to opiate painkillers or heroin and is facilitated by me, an addictions counselor. These group members share a commonality. They all utilize medication-assisted treatment in the form of methadone or Suboxone. These podcasts are designed for education and support purposes only and are not therapy. The views expressed in the podcasts are the opinions of each member and do not reflect an official position of the treatment clinic. If you'd like to ask the group a question or suggest a topic, please email us at info@opiatesupportgroup.com. Welcome. Could you each state your first name?
Jason.
Chad.
Nicole.
Trish.
And I'm Gail. So let's talk about marijuana. How many of you enjoy your marijuana?
I smoke.
Yeah, not often, but I do.
I don't.
No.
So it's 3
Nicole,
or 4.
you don't, and you never did, or because
Never
you're pregnant?
have. No, I just never have. It makes me have panic attacks.
Oh.
I've got her to smoke with me once or twice, maybe, but that's, I mean...
My husband hates it as well.
I've only smoked maybe 6 times in my life. I don't like it.
Okay, wait, Chad, what? You've got her to smoke with you?
No, actually, it was her idea to try something new with me.
It wasn't something new. I've smoked maybe
Right.
4 times before then, but he would be smoking and
Let me
forget
try.
that I don't and be like, no. And I'm like, yeah, sure, once or twice I did it, but it's only happened like twice. I guess with people that smoke weed, they're automatically get here. You want to hit that?
Yeah.
You want to hit that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
I mean, just they do. I've been around weed smokers my whole entire life. I just never have been inclined to do it. It just was not something I enjoyed. The few times I did try it, makes my heart feel like it's beating out of my chest, and I feel like I'm dying.
Wow. Yeah. Well, and marijuana will make you kind of paranoid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that happen for you regular users?
No, I don't get paranoid
I don't get
at all.
paranoid.
I get more comfortable, able to... My paranoia is when I'm sober, Like, I have a natural... I don't like... I'm worried about stuff. But when I smoke, I'm not worried at all. And it puts me at ease. It puts me in a better state of mind to be able to deal with stuff or not care about what I don't need to care about. You know what I mean? It just helps. It helps me. So...
Yeah, like I'm a wake and bake person. Like before I go anywhere or do anything, like I wake up in the morning and I have to smoke a bowl, and then I usually feel comfortable like going out. I don't know what it is.
So for you, it's your cup of coffee.
Yeah, I mean it is honestly, and I have quite a few cups of coffee during the day too. So, but it's gotten to the point where I feel like it's negatively impacting my marriage, because my husband doesn't smoke, and I spend quite a bit of money on it, and now as I've learned, with this cannabinoid hypermesia syndrome that I was told I have, now when I stop smoking, I get severely sick. Like I can't even keep water down for days. So I know that
So it's withdrawal.
It's withdrawal.
What did you call it?
It's CHS, but it's cannabinoid hypermesia syndrome.
Wow.
And
That's a long word for,
it is
for withdrawal.
It is. And it is awful. I mean, it's horrible.
And someone diagnosed you with this?
Mm-hmm.
You went to a doctor?
I went to a doctor about 3 days in of I had stopped smoking. I really wanted to quit, and I was getting so sick, and I kept thinking it was my allergies or my sinuses, and that I was just getting sick from that, and so I went to the doctor and I told him everything that was going on, and I didn't say anything about the weed at first, and he said my sinuses looked great. I didn't have any congestion, and then I said, well, I did just stop smoking. And he goes, when? And I told him, and he pulled out the list of symptoms of CHS, and I had every single one: stomach cramps, nausea, headache, restlessness, like everything that really comes with withdrawal. It is. And it lasts anywhere from 4 to 5 days of sickness lasts. I mean, the sickness lasts 4 to 5 days, but the then I have to deal with all of the triggers as far as like emotionally and everything. Like I had a panic attack 6 days into me stopping smoking last month, and I had a complete panic attack, and then I started smoking. And it's
So you've not been able to get through the withdrawal.
I got through it. I did get through it for those 6 days, and I was past the getting sick phase, but I was just getting in. There's like 3 different phases of CHS, and I was just getting into the phase where I really needed to try to control my emotions and my, my feelings, and I wasn't coping well with that.
Okay, I didn't know there were 3 phases.
I don't know. There's 3 different phases of CHS, but like the first initial phase is like the sickness, like as far as physical sickness. And then the other phase is more the emotionality of why you've been using weed for so long. And then the third phase is basically like recovery. But the only way to cure my CHS is by me to cease smoking, which is very difficult for me to do. I mean,
and you went back to it. So
I did. I went back to it. I couldn't do it. They gave me Zofran, and it really helped for a few days. And when I called back to see if I could get more Zofran for my nausea, they said no. So that was really the only thing that helped me. And I knew all I had to do was smoke pot, and I would have felt better.
Zofran will calm you down a little bit too.
Will it too?
It kind of
Okay.
makes you sleepy.
Yeah, it just made my stomach stop feeling like somebody was punching it. So yeah, I haven't been able to quit again since, but I'm gonna have to though, because like I said, I spend too much money on it, and it's becoming. It's not a seasoning in my life. It's a main course, and I've always done that with drugs, and I'm tired of it, I guess.
Well, I know you've tried a number of times while you're here.
Yeah. But honestly, it makes me feel better too. That's the thing. It's like I don't want another medication I need to take. It has a lot to do with the mental side of it, and I just can't get past that. I really felt like I did so good getting through the physical sides of the withdrawals that I thought I was going crazy, because I thought there's no way I'm feeling withdrawals from marijuana. This is
You didn't believe you could be addicted
No,
to
I
it.
did not believe it. And I've been dealing with this for years. And I just never realized what it was. But every time I try to stop smoking, I get severely sick. No.
Well, I'm so glad that you're sharing this with us, because I was hesitant. I've been carrying around this article for a while. I was hesitant to bring it up because every time I mention this, the whole group goes crazy. No, it's not addictive. No, we're not giving it up. We love our pot.
Well, I think it's because the word addiction, that implies that it's out of control. You are, not just dependent. You are out of control with this stuff. I think there's a dependence that develops, but not an addiction. And some
Is this not an addiction? What she's talking about?
I'm saying some can have the addiction. Yes, I mean I know people who they don't have their bud and they're like panicking like they're a heroin addict. That seems like an addiction. But me, I'm a daily, most day smoker. And I can go days without it, without even a worry. I mean, I get it, I have it, I smoke it, I don't have it, I don't smoke it.
So when you don't...
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, it helps me, and I don't like not having it.
When you don't smoke, you wouldn't experience these withdrawal symptoms.
No.
Yeah, not everybody does. And what's really crazy is with CHS, they don't really know exactly how it came about. Because like I've been smoking for 20 years. My CHS just came into my life probably 5 years ago. They don't know if it's from the high strains of marijuana. They don't know if it's from the fertilizers they're putting on, from the toxins that they're putting on the pesticides. They don't know what it's really from, and that's what's so crazy about it. But they said in Colorado especially, every day in Colorado someone goes in the ER with CHS and they're diagnosed with it.
Well, let me read this article. Title is Marijuana Addiction is Real, but Many Users Don't Realize It. And I would add, don't want to know it.
No,
I think that's a true statement.
Yeah, and this article is by Christine Vestal. And she's talking about this young man who, for him, he was saying that smoking pot was a rite of passage. even though nearly all of his friends were using marijuana and seeming to enjoy it, this kid said that at some point his marijuana use took a turn he never saw coming. He became addicted. So you use every day, how many times a day?
I'd say I smoke when I'm in possession of cannabis, which is 85% of the time. I smoke probably 1 gram to 2 grams a day.
How about you?
So
I smoke at least 1 gram a day.
So you're the same amount,
Yeah.
but it affects you differently.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay, so
well, they're different strains, I'm sure too.
yeah, well, that's what this says. Many people are unaware of marijuana addiction, but in the public health and medical communities, it's a well-defined disorder that includes physical withdrawal symptoms, cravings, and psychological dependence. Many say it's on the rise, perhaps because of the increasing potency of genetically engineered plants and the use of concentrated products, or because more users are partaking multiple times a day. So there's a physician who says we see it every day. The controversy should be why it affects people differently. The percentage of people who become addicted to marijuana estimated at about 9% of all users, and about 17% of those who start in adolescence has been stable. That's been the case for a long time. Did you know it was that much?
As far as 9%?
Yeah. And 17% if you start as an adolescent.
That's crazy.
That's a lot. You know, they always say don't, the brain is not fully formed till you're 25. Adolescents should not start using marijuana.
Well, and it's kind of weird. I have, now that I think I have friends in Georgia. I have this one girlfriend that's had stomach problems for years, and she smoked pot her whole life. And I've always wondered if, the two went hand in hand, because, I don't know, she just had a lot of issues with her health that I feel like she shouldn't have had, and she's a heavy smoker. Marijuana and cigarettes, I guess, so.
Well, let me keep reading. It says, in Northern California, some addiction treatment practitioners say they're seeing a surge in demand for help, particularly among adolescents. Marijuana's estimated rate of addiction is lower than that of cocaine and alcohol and heroin. Unlike with opioids and stimulants, marijuana dependence tends to develop slowly. Months or years may pass before symptoms begin to affect a dependent user's life. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Like most things, it takes a while. Well, I shouldn't say that. Opiates can get you pretty quick. There are no known reports of anyone dying from a marijuana overdose, which is what everybody says to justify their use.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's ever died from it. But there are withdrawal symptoms, chills, sweats, cravings, insomnia, loss of appetite, nausea, anxiety, and irritability. So you had all this?
Yes, I had all those. And my, like I said, my stomach just felt like somebody was just constantly hitting me in it. It was awful. Like, the cramping was unbelievable. I haven't had a child, so that was the most cramping I've ever experienced.
So the director of National Institute on Drug Abuse, her name is Nora Volkow, says that estimated 2.7 million Americans meet the diagnostic criteria for marijuana dependence, second only to alcohol dependence. That's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of alcoholics.
Yeah, but no surprise there, right?
I guess, yeah.
It's legal. Yeah. So back in the day when kids were sitting around smoking a joint, the THC levels found in marijuana averaged from 2 to 4%. That's what most parents think is going on today. And that's why society thinks marijuana is harmless. But selective breeding has resulted in an average potency of 20% THC. Some strains exceed 30%. That's a lot.
And you can definitely tell the difference between the good and the bad.
Can you?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes if I smoke some swag, I get a headache. And, sometimes it can look like it's good, and then it just, I don't know, just doesn't taste right. But that's for people that have smoked it. You can just taste the difference. I call them a two-hitter quitter. You know, where you hit the bowl 2 times, then you can put it down. Because cause stuff out of Colorado, I've had some of that. Cause stuff out of like the states where they are legalizing and stuff, they have some incredible stuff. But some of this homegrown stuff people have around here is you can tell the difference. It doesn't give you the same like feeling.
So you know enough that you want the 30% instead of the 2 to 4%.
Yeah, but sometimes I just take whatever I can get, honestly. Yeah. But yeah, you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was a teenager, sometimes the weed wasn't even green. Sometimes it was brown almost, you know, like that's, you know, that's that brick stuff from Mexico. But it's not like that anymore. It looks so different. It's crazy.
Yeah, this says marijuana concentrates and extracts, much more commonly used in the past 5 years, have THC levels that range from 40% to more than 80%. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
the
those
extracts
dabs and stuff. Those are
and
crazy.
concentrates, that's where all these things are coming from.
You know, and if it's medical marijuana and you need something like that, fine, you know.
And well, that's why they bred these things to be so powerful for the medicinal purposes. I mean, so high THC isn't bad. It means you got to smoke less.
Yeah.
Because if I got a bag of 2% swag, I got to smoke that whole bag in a day. Mm-hmm. If I get a good bag of incredibly potent weed, I only have to pack a little bowl and smoke it like 3 times throughout that day. You know, so what's better, you know? Killing myself, huffing down a pound of this material, or one little puff here and there, you know? I think that's better than that.
But is it better? Because if it's higher concentrate, then
if
you're
gonna
more
smoke,
prone to addiction.
If you're going to smoke the higher concentrate as if it were the 2%, if you're going to huff down a pound of high grade, you're dumb. So yeah, you're going to encounter problems, you know? But, you know, I think I don't know. I've been addicted and all that to stuff, but marijuana never hooked my spirit and, like, you know what I mean? Even at its most harmful, it's still not as harmful as any other substance, you know.
And weed, even the most potent stuff, you can keep smoking and keep smoking and keep smoking, and I only get so high. Like,
yeah, I can't get like any higher. Like
right.
I only get to this certain point.
Like I've done the job. I'm high. It's time to do whatever I have to do with my day. But you know, I could sit there and smoke and smoke and smoke. But I mean, I'm not gonna get any higher because I keep smoking. I'm just burning money and probably getting my lungs, you know, black
and you're setting yourself up for a dependency because you have so much of it
My
coming
dad
in and
smoked
go.
weed my whole entire life. I was almost 20 before I found out he even smoked. I didn't even know. He never did it around us. I never seen him do it. He never spent a dime on it. He grew his own, which I didn't know that either. But he always had a couple plants that he had in a garden, which we always had a huge garden. So I didn't know there was weed plants in there. But he always smoked his own, and he worked every day, worked the same job for 30-some years, and never affected where he worked. And I don't guess he smoked every single day, but when he wanted to, he had it. And he didn't have a very good, he didn't like people who were potheads. He talked about people being potheads who couldn't do anything but lay in bed and smoke weed all day and get a job. But he was like, there's a difference in...
Yeah.
Yeah, but like any addiction, the negative consequences, you know, you said it's causing marital problems for you. Some people that are tested positive can't keep a job. You know, you're spending too much money. I mean, there are very real negative consequences to this, and that's why it's an addiction. And yet they persist.
Yeah, if I could have homegrown, that probably would have been a whole different story. Maybe I wouldn't be having these problems now. But true. But
And my dad did his whole entire life.
Easy as germinating a seed.
Okay. Well, so I think this was a good discussion, and I hope people take it seriously and realize this is an addiction. Stop minimizing it. For some people, it's an addiction.
I personally know a person that I would say their relation to cannabis is negative on their life, and it is an addiction. Like this person, like I said, they react to having it like it's heroin. Like if they don't have it, it is panic. If they don't have the money, they're borrowing the money. If they, you know what I mean? Like, so I definitely could see how some can be crazy addicted, but
I agree.
the vast majority is pretty safe, I think.
My 16-year-old son is addicted to marijuana.
You think?
Oh, I know.
To the point where he'll rob, lie, cheat, steal,
Whoa.
whatever it
Yeah,
takes to get to it.
really?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with him. And we tried to get him into some place in Freeport. No, it was,
Go ahead.
yeah, I can't remember the name of it anyway. But I tried to get him help. But
What happened? They wouldn't take him?
because he's not willing to go himself.
Right. You gotta
Even though
want it.
Yeah.
he's a
You
minor.
gotta-
He wasn't even 16 at the time. He was 15.
Yeah.
They wouldn't
Yeah.
do anything for him because he's not willing to go himself. And
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's not able to make those decisions on
Yeah,
his
that's
own.
why you're making it for
I'm
him.
making it for him.
Yeah.
I want him
Yeah.
there. And
Wow.
You know,
Too bad.
I'll let you end it.
Okay. All right. Well, this was a good discussion. Thanks for coming.